Hey everybody, Radamon here for another episode of my Europa Survival Community Challenge. So in the last episode, we kind of got, messed with by this mechanoid over here, and it managed to destroy a pretty considerable amount of important things, chiefly our wind turbine and our battery. So this wind turbine currently is not connected to the grid, which, as you might safely assume, is problematic. We want it to connect. But instead of building conduit, I'm going to just go ahead and build the whole wind turbine back. But until we have that wind turbine back, I'm going to make sure we're not using too much power. We're down to one battery and we don't have a lot of power as a result. Which means smelting. And also breaking down this scyther for parts. So yeah, I was entirely unprepared for a mechanoid to land like right in the middle of my base. I'm not sure if you can ever truly be prepared for attacks that don't come where you expect them to. I mean, I could have done better, sure. I could have had my turrets stored rather than prepared, but I think there will be events that happen like this. Fortunately, if I manage to get an exotic goods merchant, I get a lot more scyther blades to sell. So there's a bit of a mixed blessing there, I suppose. And we got some cargo pods of fire foam shells. They'll sell. And then we can break down the slag. So let's bring in the shells first. So as you can see, this is unconnected right now. I will reconnect it. I don't want these shells deteriorating. They will sell for a pretty penny. There's 3 trips to haul. You know, and then of course the 30 extra steel that I'll recover from that. So I think given the slag that I just got and the fact that I have 140, yeah, so I will have enough even when I break down, or after I break down this scyther, I'll have enough to and Cross wants to go to sleep, but enough steel to replace all the things that broke. Of course, I'd honestly much rather be building new things than replacing broken things. So I just have to stay sharp and make sure that events like that don't take me by surprise like they did. So we have 33 steel left, and we have 30 slag worth of stuff to break down. And now we have our power grid back, up and running. That was pretty quick turnaround time of a day or so. It is the 2nd of fall. But because the wind isn't really going anywhere, I'm going to cut the grow light until the wind kicks back up. Alright. Place some horseshoes. Let's go grab another haul of this fire foam shells. And I think we're producing enough wind power and power to go ahead and turn the lights back on. So it's not quite cold enough, but it's getting cold enough that I'll have to switch off of my jacket and back onto the parka. I can definitely lose the armor vest though. I don't absolutely don't need that right now. So let's go ahead and ditch that. And we got some peace talk opportunities that I am going to promptly ignore. And we're hauling the rest of the fire foam shells. Now I'm hoping for some more trade ships, of course. They never hurt. The dwindling supply I have of steel is a bit of a bummer, if I'm being honest. And we have a blight. So, although I would like Cross to stay asleep, it's really important to get blights quick. I'm going to go ahead and forbid the table. Yes, it'd be more efficient to plant rice here, and but I like the harvest schedule to be sort of all at the same time. Personal preference, let's say. And of course, right when the grow light turns on, the wind cuts out entirely. That's just the way it goes for me, I think. So responding to some of the feedback, some of you are apologizing that you're not watching my videos as they release. That's fine. It's not a big deal when you watch it. I'm just happy that you do ever. Alright, so we have another mechanoid raid. I think what's happening now... Ooh, and there's two of them. Jesus. I think what's happening now, if I was to take a guess, because my wealth is high enough, I'm starting to get only mechanoids to attack me. Which is somewhat fine, given the fact that they have components and steel and plasteel and all the lovely materials that I'd like. But it certainly adds a dimension of difficulty that previously, you know, I would not have to have dealt with. So let's go ahead and designate some power here. Now I tried to turn the turret on pretty much when this Scyther's in like, easy to reach position. So we just got charge lanced pretty hard. I'm gonna go doctor myself. Although this, you know, this turret needs help. I'm curious if I'm able to turn it off. And alright, let's go ahead and... I don't want that Scyther entering, but I also don't want to lose a turret. Hell, I also don't want to bleed out, for that matter. No, I need you... Okay. Alright, now that he's in position, I definitely am going to need some more turrets here. I just need to make sure this Scyther isn't aiming at me. Just destroyed already. Don't play with your food. Alright. There we go. Now Cross can patch himself back up, and my turret survived, albeit barely. Which is another very helpful warning that I need better defenses. Without a doubt. Alright, and they have a few blades left, right? Yeah, they have one blade each. Doing our harvest. Really don't want to work. You need joy, don't you? You're kind of joy-filled, actually, so I don't know why you're refusing to work. To be fair, it doesn't make much sense. So Rub says that plagues will be my greatest enemy, and I should keep some Glitterworld medicine. I kind of did, so I'm not sure what that comment means. I have Glitterworld medicine right here. Alright, so instead of resting off, let's get rid of bed rest for now. I have more important things that I want to do. I suppose I just have to get rid of bed rest, set it as 4. So if I was to get attacked by more Scythers right now, I have a really banged up base, and, you know, I really should probably push for another turret. Preferably a Plasteel one. So if I look at security, and I check out a Plasteel turret, I need 75 Plasteel, which is exactly what I'm going to get from these 2 Scythers. Once I break them down. The machining bench. So, my next turret will be Plasteel turrets, and I'll probably only make Plasteel turrets from here on out, just because they're far less likely to break down than these steel counterparts. And I can always keep a steel turret in here as security, sort of backup security, but for the most part, it will be Plasteel all the way. Now here's another issue I'm kind of running into right now is I am running out of storage space. I've got so many Scyther blades and really no one to sell them to. Also going to have enough steel for the Plasteel turret once I do some slagging. Actually, I have enough now. So let's go ahead and just create a Plasteel turret. I suppose once we're done resting. So if I'm not mistaken, we should have... Oh, we have 74 Plasteel. Oh, that's just evil. Yeah, I could take it from a Plasteel door, I suppose. But man, that is just... Why? So close and yet so far. But yeah, I think it's going to be... It's becoming pretty evident that security is paramount. And as such, getting this Plasteel turret up is going to be quite important. And we'll build the steel door once we smelt 2 things of slag. Cutting it a little close, yes, I realize, but it is the way it is. Alright, so now that we have this Plasteel turret, we can flick that on at whim when we feel the need to. And I think what I'll do is I'll just reinstall it in its own little bunker area. So one thing they changed in this, oh, you know what? That might be too expensive for me right now. One thing they changed in this patch is that turrets don't immediately go kablooey, which is kind of nice. They don't. All of them don't necessarily explode, which is a pretty important differentiation from previous patches. And of course, I forgot to take my armor vest off again. That seems to be a recurring theme of leave the vest on. So this turret here is almost 3 times more HP than the steel one. We'll go ahead and do some of that slag. After this next shipment of slag, we'll have enough for this door. We're really on piecemeal here, as you can probably see. And we're running on minor break risk, so I'm actually not going to break down this slag. I'm going to drop it near the base and let them rest. Mental health is of paramount importance. So is security. I was trying to get the door up, but it became pretty evident that Crosshair is a little stressed. An eclipse. I don't mind eclipses now. Doesn't really bug me any. And that should be enough for the door. And then we still have a little bit more steel left. So we'll have 32 and then 25 of it's going to the door, and then we're going to smelt another 10. So we'll have 17 steel total. Not a whole lot, but I've been in worse situations, I suppose. So I'm curious if humanoid raiders are just done, just totally done. I mean, part of the problem is I have so many of these scyther blades that my colony wealth just keeps going up and up and up, and it's just going to keep sending me more and more scythers until I'm able to sell the scyther blades to an exotic goods merchant and trade that for building materials or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to obviously figure that part out. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but regardless, it's just ever increasing my wealth, which will just make the raids I have to deal with harder and harder and harder. So I'm hoping something changes, because eventually I'll have so many scyther blades that... Okay, so here is... Yeah, I really don't want to have to deal with humanoids either. I don't have any storage space for this. Oh, okay, exotic goods merchant. That's exactly what I was just talking about. I have no idea how. I guess ask and you shall receive type deal. Alright, so we can sell 5k worth of scyther blades. I don't know if I really want to spend 2k on components. That's kind of a lot. Now here's the kicker is... That's more silver, obviously, than they have. I would need to buy like most of their components to even this out. I can buy plasteel straight up, and that's pretty tempting, given how strong of a material it is. Buying 200 plasteel straight up is going to be pretty nice. But there's other things that I might want. Eventually, I'm going to want bionic parts, but the issue for right now, at least, is... I have no one to install them. You know, there's no self-surgery or anything like that. Alright, so let's say buy 200 plasteel. Or 150 plasteel. And then... I think what I'll do is buy 5 components and just call that good. So why 150? For 2 more turrets. I don't, of course, have the steel at the moment for them, but I guess I should. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to... Let's see. Is there anything steel that I could buy off them? A grand sculpture. Ooh, that is a steep price, but... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Should give me enough steel for some more turrets. And I'm just going to go ahead and destroy my old turret. Because they do have a tendency to explode. You know what? I won't install it. I'll set it up as a security turret in case people get behind me or something. And then I'll only have strong turrets out front. It also means I can work on my kill box. I might have enough materials to do that. I guess we'll see. Battery's getting a little low, so... Alright, so one turret's back there as security measures. Now, if I was to start the... Yeah, I think what I'll do is make one more turret and then use whatever steel I have left to start the kill box. Or some of the steel. I don't want to use it all, because if I use it all, you know, I can't replace conduit or stuff like that, but I'll use some of it. Another thing I probably can do is, you know, there's actually no reason for the steel to be under the roof here. So I'm gonna fix that. Alright, so let's go ahead and delete this zone. And we'll stockpile steel and plasteel like this. Steel and plasteel don't really decay, so it's honestly not a big deal that it's out in the open. So I might as well put all the things that don't decay, like steel, plasteel, gold, out in the open like this, because it frees up space for the overhead areas. I suppose I can keep the gold where it is. It's not taking up that much room, but at least this frees up some space. So we've got 2 turrets now, and 100 steel left. So what I think I'm going to do is just use 60 of it to start the starter walls, and that way mechanoids can't shoot me from weird angles. They kind of have to come in from the front. That should be enough of a little start. And then I'm actually going to, as stupid as this sounds, because I didn't know I was going to get a exotic goods merchant, as stupid as it sounds, I'm going to break down this door again and replace it with plasteel. Just because plasteel is a little bit more hardy. I feel better about having that as plasteel. And then, of course, I'm going to want to build a high-tech research bench at some point. So that's something else I ought to save up for, which obviously I haven't done yet, but I'm planning on it. So now we're not going to have enough for another turret, but something tells me that I'm going to get attacked by more mechanoids. That the mechanoids that I've fought so far are not the only ones I'm going to fight, so that will be a steady stream of plasteel coming my way as well. just help me move around my base a little bit more. We're running out of meals, so that will be the next thing I do. Apparently, making only one of them is sufficient, according to Cross. There's still like building rubble and whatnot, but everything else on the map here I've already either buried or hauled or something, broken down. So we're doing a pretty good job of tidying up after ourselves. I think I'll go ahead and crank out 10 more meals. So you can see they're stockpiling over here. That's the quantum entanglement meal, where it teleports like that. So I have an escape pod. Burton. A female named Burton. And she's got some clothing I might want, so I'm going to try to rescue her. I don't know how far, because she's in the very, very furthest corner. I don't even know if she's honestly rescuable. I'm going to run out there and attempt. Not to save her, but to save the clothing. I should add. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to haul her anywhere. She is racking up some extreme hypothermia, as am I. Not extreme, of course, but not, yeah, I might just have enough time to strip her. Nope. Didn't even have enough time to strip her. What a waste of a trip. Because now this stuff is worth a lot less. Alright, I guess what I'll do is... I'm just going to create a dumping stockpile here. So I can haul her body in. I'll get the slag after that. And I also have to keep an eye on my own hypothermia because I am also cold. Which means changing my attire. Now that we're mid to late autumn, or whatever. It's permanent winter, but it would be the autumn season. Obviously, I'm getting a lot colder than I would otherwise. So I have to be careful about that. So let's toss this parka on, and now I'm good. Like, I'm very, very well insulated. In fact, so much so I need to take off my toque. Alright, so because we've recently seen her dead body, I'm going to go ahead and make it a priority to bury her. And yes, I'm burying some value worth of clothing with her, but you can gripe about that all you want. I don't really care. Chunks, slag. It was maybe 10 silver worth. It's not that big of a deal. So J-Stink said that if I queue up holding shift with the new queuing system, the pawn will perform the task right on wake up, which is a nice little thing to know about. So if you're sleeping, you can queue up tasks while not waking up your pawn necessarily. Some other tips that you might have mentioned. Fenris Loki said that a lot of the other YouTubers are doing swamp playthroughs, and that's to no surprise because, whoa, that was close. Granite blocks and slag. Man, my heart jumped momentarily when that landed. So how much granite do we have? 87? That's pretty good. 25. Might have enough for this. Alright, let's, steel door there. So what I'm doing here is, this is eventually where steel doors will go. I'm just going to put wood in there. This wood is kind of a resource I don't mind wasting a little of. So let's see how much of these walls I can build. Hopefully a whole lot. And having nice, tough granite at the entrance of my kill box is going to be prove to be very, very helpful, I think. Actually canceled the wooden walls just because I think I'll be able to afford the steel doors. So the reason for the steel doors is they're going to allow me to actually let's cancel that one too. They're going to allow me to oh, come on. They're going to allow me to reset deadfall traps without triggering them. At least that's the idea. So we have enough for one more granite wall here, and then we're out. Still pretty good. That's a lot more walling than I otherwise would have been able to afford, so no complaints from my front. So for these doors, yeah, I'm going to temporarily make them wood. Wood walls, that is. Just until we get some more steel. We don't even have enough steel for a deadfall trap. We have 68 out of the 70 required. And we're about to use a nice big chunk of that for these doors. So this door will allow me to reset 3 traps, and this door will allow me to bypass the deadfall area. Now I'm just going to go ahead and smelt the remainder. And I think I'm going to keep all this steel in reserve rather than to use it. All the while hoping for a decent trade opportunity to come my way. Are you going to be headed to sleep now? You're not. You're just going to be eating. Trying to figure out if I needed to turn off the smelter or not. So this isn't exactly where my turrets are going to eventually be. I'm going to have the turrets sort of lined up here. And maybe I should invest in the power lines for that. Wouldn't be the worst idea. Set them up properly. Which does mean breaking my sandbags down, but the idea would be to have cover back here where the turrets are, and all the turrets sort of lined up around the edge here, and I can flick them on and off at will, so that a victim will come to the center of the kill box roughly, and then kablamo, get shot to high hell by all the turrets that are lying in wait, basically. At least that's the hope. Alright, so I still have some cleanup to do, but I think I'm going to prioritize meals first. I still have some snow to shovel. It looks like I need a too wide area to bother shoveling. Otherwise it just blows right on back. So given that new information, I'm not going to push for shoveling where it won't really matter. I'm just kind of counting my meals manually. This will be number 10. Now I don't so much want to actually, let's remove some of this. I don't want to clear out the snow where it's actually going to impede my enemies, so I'm going to leave that in play. The more snow that slows down the enemies, the better, as far as I'm concerned. I'm getting rid of this roof here because it's pretty clear to me I can't keep that shoveled. Okay. As I'm staring at it. That also means that I need to move my batteries, obviously. So for now, I can just reinstall the batteries here. They'll be safe and roofed, because that was my fault. I didn't think they had he had removed the roof quite yet. Rookie mistake. And another raid of mechanoids. At least it's just one now. And it's heading into the kill box. I saw that it was targeting the plasteel turret, so that's nice. I might not even really need to get my hands dirty here. I'll let the turrets do most of the heavy lifting, if not all of it. So the idea is to let them into the kill box, flick on the turrets, and have the turrets deal with the intruder, rather than to risk injury, because these plasteel turrets are so much tougher. You know, I'm probably not going to run into a problem where they get damaged too much or even destroyed. And as predicted, it is definitely working. Without a doubt, it's a lot easier of a fight. The Scyther's just about dead. And nothing destroyed. Turrets are done. Turrets go off. I can... There's nothing to recover off this either, but I can at least break him down for machining parts. And another escape pod Lilith with some pants. At this point, it wouldn't be too crazy to bring in another pawn. However, a pawn that's incapable of dumb labor, I don't think we'll ever find a house. She's not going to survive. She's going to become too hypothermic, so I'm not even going to bother to attempt to strip her or anything. I kind of wasted my time last time and learned my lesson, so we're going to go ahead and just... We'll bury her eventually. So if I'm not getting attacked by any more humanoid raiders unless I offer refugee status, I might move these graves. That's going to be a bit of a mood bummer, but yeah, I'm not sure I want the graves in the kill box anymore. I don't know. Really don't know exactly what I was thinking putting them there in the first place, but I suppose I could always leave them. I mean, it's not harming anything. It's just it's going to be unusable space as long as they're there. Which is to say, alright. So if we spend any more time, once we clear out the perimeter from snow, I'm going to go ahead and just remove all this snow clearing area, because that means that the snow is blowing in from 2 cells deep. And it's not really worth me spending so much time clearing all this if it's just going to blow right back. I think it's a one and done and not a repetitive task here, the way I set it up. Could of course be wrong, but time will tell. So now I'm gonna go bury Lilith, and I should probably break down this scyther. It's actually deteriorating because it's unroofed. I could roof up the entire, maybe that's not the worst idea, roof up the entire area here. Now, after breaking this scyther down, I will have the option of possibly making my first deadfall trap, which is enticing. Because if I make a few steel walls here, I can place a deadfall trap here, and I think I'll go ahead and do that. So that would look something like this. Alright, so that's 40 more steel, 25 more plasteel, which allows me to make another plasteel turret if I need. And we have another raid. Hey, it's pirates! It's not more mechanoids, but it's not just a little pirates, it's a lot of pirates. Oh boy. They're preparing a while, and they came in drop pods, so the good news about that is that's a lot more steel that I will have access to soon, given some physical manual labor of hauling it all back. Alright, so they're fleeing. It was just too cold for them to survive. Now, in the interest of profiting from the dead, I'm going to run over there and strip as many as I can before they bleed out. Now, a lot of their stuff is not necessarily... Fine, you want to eat? Going to be worth much. Come on, reach him. Bolt, most of their weapons are pretty crummy. Can I reach these guys? Did I get you in time? Yeah, I did. Okay. And then I'll just figure out what the most expensive stuff is here. So I think I reached a lot of them. So probably... Ooh, I'm running out of room. Okay, so temporarily, I'm just going to put a stockpile here. And as much as I'd like a bolt-action rifle, these are all pretty crappy bolt-action rifles. So let's see, this duster is worth 120, this one's probably worth more, 180. I'm going to haul that jacket first, and then I'll just figure out what is worth the most. So these cloth pants and this parka are worth the next most, I think. I don't know how much of this I'm ever really going to haul back. Alright, so this should be low priority. You know what? I just screwed that up. So let's do that again. 5x5 stockpile. Call this a temp stockpile, and I should probably I should probably oh, come on, fine. I don't want my silver out there. It's dumb. This is totally a waste of time. Alright. Now we're starting to haul clothing, so let's go ahead and haul this parka. Alright, so $3, we're not gonna bother. 25, maybe. 33, maybe. 42, sure. 19, 30. Yeah, there is a lot of work to be done. So some of this, like this toque here, $15, you know, is the least worth stuff. And then, of course, if you look at the dead people, the stuff they have on is worth nothing, basically. I mean, that toque is particularly bad, but this parka is worth $2. It's worth a 60th of the cost of, you know, these pieces of clothing. So you got to be careful how you spend your time. And plus, I also want the steel, right? So that's got to be worth something, you know. Ooh, an aurora. Lovely. And what I can do here is I can just build up a wall and then build a deadfall trap, build up a wall, build a deadfall trap, then build the door, build a wall, build the deadfall trap, and just anytime I have the resources, just keep pushing those deadfalls north. And you never even went outside for the aurora. You know, I don't blame you, because honestly, it's tough to enjoy stuff like that. So we have more people to bury. I should be just hauling stuff. So I'm going to actually go ahead and force that. I think this duster's probably the next most valuable thing out here. Or maybe this parka? No, duster by far. Looks like this rice is ready too. And what I can do is I can just line my base with these dead bodies. Right? That's not dark, but why not? And that way I can get them out of this area here. Alright. I don't know. I mean, as time progresses, obviously this stuff becomes worth less and less and less, to the point where hauling it isn't worth the amount of time it takes. And it's getting to that point pretty soon. Let's try and haul this stuff out. Alright, next. That should be worth something. Yeah, that's 77. Really, anything that's not tattered is worth a lot more. Once it becomes tattered, it's worth a lot less. So I'm slowly stockpiling stuff, and then of course I have the bodies to bury as well. And if I want to celebrate the fact that I've murdered, or at least have stockpiled bodies, because I didn't really murder those guys, the cult did. I can't take credit for that, but you know, I'll need to make sure that they don't fully decay. Some lovely graves. Another problem I have is if I have an enemy siege, I don't exactly have the weaponry to defend against such a siege. So that's something else I need to kind of look into. Right, so we're going to go haul something more, and I need to make sure it's worth hauling. So the parka is worth less than these pants, for instance. So let's make sure haul the pants first. Yeah. You observed a corpse. I don't think it will be the last time. You ought to get over it. And we have a bulk goods trader. That's good, because we have a lot of clothing that we need to sell. Alright, so first things first, ABCs. Always buy components, because the components are the cheapest here. I'm not going to be able to use this alpaca wool. I'm going to sell the polar bear skin. Sell the sandstone blocks. Now these, sell the granite blocks, because I only have 2 of them. Let's start selling clothing. Kind of doing a sanity check of like, is this clothing I want to sell? So I'm going to keep the jacket, the alpaca wool, keep the other parka. My thrombo fur, I think I'm going to sell just because it's not nearly as protective as I thought it would be. And, yeah, I'd want it to be better than that. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and buy some steel here. And that's not all the steel I'm going to be able to purchase. I can then reinstall that there. Contact them again and sell off some of this additional clothing. So all this additional clothing that I hauled gives me a fair bit more steel. 70 more. And this should be enough. Combat supplier too. I have fire foam shells that they might be interested in. Certainly I'm not. That should allow me to buy even more. Yep. Gonna keep my armor vest. And then that's just breaking even. I can then go back to the bulk goods trader and spend my 1400 on additional steel. On 450 additional steel. Boom. Which is definitely going to allow me to, well, so one of the most important things I'd say is a high-tech research bench, and possibly one that is heated, which means maybe putting it in there for now, which seems crazy, but then that means I really would like a bedroom, which means I'm going to put a wood door in and work on this bedroom first. Exciting stuff. A lot of big things just happened, so I'm a little happy. And it's just about the end of this episode, to be honest. I have obviously more bodies to bury, etc., 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 but I'm pretty pleased with how this episode went. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a bedroom with the dining table and whatnot. Maybe put my meals here, easier access to them, and then I'll build a high-tech research bench here. So first things first, let's go ahead and queue that up. And the reason for a wood door is just it's quick to open, if I'm being honest. Ooh, okay, an electrical fault. I'm going to cut the batteries. I got that before it spread too badly. And I'm not going to go ahead and make too much food right now. I want to start building the walls here for the bedroom. Which also means this piece of wall here can get broken down as well. I'm almost done. Now another thing about this construction project is going to need a little bit more power as well, because we're going to be including a heater in here, which takes a little bit of power. What I'll do is I'll put this right next to the door for speed. Let's cook up another meal. So I'm going to go ahead and get that additional power built. So that will be helpful. Then we can go ahead and move this stuff around. So I actually have a bedroom. Now what this does mean is it means I'm limiting the amount of food I can grow, at least for now, until... I mean, part of me wants to just build a research bench up here. And maybe that's probably the wise play. Because if I build it here, then I'm kind of limiting the amount of food I can ever grow. But I only have 285 steel left. So what I think I'm going to do... Oof. Yeah, I think I went about this wrong. And no, I didn't want to create a copy here. Yeah, I'm going to use this new area... I'm going to use this new area for the research bench. And that allows me to continue using this as a farm much longer. It does waste a little bit of wood, but I can deal with that. And this is kind of a perfect space for a research bench because then it also can fit a multi-analyzer pretty easily as well. Gonna want a sun lamp and a little stool. But I think that's for another episode. We've hit our hour. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any feedback, questions, concerns, comments, etc., let me know. I hope I sort of answered as many questions as I could, either in comments or on this Let's Play, and I hope to catch you all next time. So adios, everyone, and good luck.